Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Bharate Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karashyami Siddhir Bhavatu me sada साक्षात् कृतं गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। नारायणं पद्मभुवं वसिष्ठं शक्तिं च तत्पुत्रपराशरं च व्यासं शुकं गौडपदं महान्तं गोविन्दयोगीन्द्रमथास्य शिष्यम् श्रीशङ्कराचार्यमथास्य पद्मपादं च हस्तामलकं च शिष्यम् तं तोटकं वार्तिककारमन्यान् अस्मद्गुरून् सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। अपारकरुणा सिन्धुं ज्ञानदं शान्तरूपिणम् श्रीचन्द्रशेखरगुरुं प्रणमामि मुदान्वहम्। यत्कृपालेशमात्रेण पुमान् पूर्णः प्रजायते तं वन्दे ब्रह्मविद्धुर्यं सद्गुरुं चन्द्रशेखरम्। साक्षात्कृतं दयानन्दं परमार्थस्वरूपिणम् तत्त्वज्ञानप्रशास्तारं प्रणतोऽस्मि परं पदम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्तगोचरं तमगोचरम्
सर्ववेदांत सिद्धांत गोचरं तमगोचरम्
गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्।
गोविन्दं
गोविन्दं
परमानन्दं
परमानन्दं
सद्गुरुं
सद्गुरुं
Do you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
जन्तूनां नरजन्म दुर्लभमतः पुंस्त्वं ततो विप्रता।
जन्तूनां
जन्मदुर्लभमतः
नरजन्मदुर्लभमतः
पुंस्त्वं ततो विप्रता।
ततो विप्रथा।
तस्माद् वैदिकधर्ममार्गपरता विद्वत्त्वमस्मात् परम्।
तस्मात्
तस्मात्
वैदिकधर्ममार्गपरता
वैदिकधर्ममार्गपरता विद्वत्त्वमस्मात् परम्।
विद्वत्त्वमस्मात् परम्।
आत्मानात्मविवेचनं स्वनुभवो ब्रह्मात्मना संस्थितिः।
आत्मना
आत्मात्मविवेचनं
विवेचन
स्वनुभवो
स्वनुभवो
ब्रह्मात्मना संस्थितिः।
ब्रह्मात्मना संस्थितिः।
मुक्तिर्नो शतजन्मकोटिसुकृतैः पुण्यैर्विना लभ्यते।
मुक्तिर्नो
मुक्तिर्नो
शतजन्मकोटिसुकृतैः
शतजन्मकोटिसुकृतैः पुण्यैर्विना लभ्यते।
पुण्यैर्विना लभ्यते।
After the Mangala Shloka, Acharya begins the following shlokas. The shloka from the second shloka, Jantunam Narajanma Durlabham iti Arabhya. Dvitiya shlokat Arabhya. Panchama shloka Paryantam. Up to the fifth shloka. The fifth shloka is Itakhon Vasti Vodatma. Here also Durlabham Manusham Deham iti. Iti Panchama shloka Paryantam. Manushya Janma Prashamsam Karoti. Acharya praises the glory of Manushya Janma. Manushya Janma Praptihi, which is Durlabham. Iti Manushya Janma Stuti. The shlokas, four shlokas deal with the Manushya Janma Stuti, the greatness of being born as a human being. Why Manushya Janma is glorious compared to other beings? Because there is a shloka in the Padma Purana. Jalajaha Navalakshani Stavaraha Laksha Vimshatihi Krimayaha Ruddha Sankhyayaha. There are some internet disturbances. You need to bear what to do. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So I was telling that that there are 8.4 million jivas, species in the world. Our Padma Purana says so. There is a shloka, that's what I was telling. Jalaja Navalakshani Stavaraha Laksha Vimshatihi Krimayaha Rudra Sankhyayaha Pakshinam Dashalaksham Trimshat Lakshani Pashavaha Chatur Lakshani Manavaha. So put together, if you will have 84 lakh species. Kati Praninaha Santi Chaturashitayaha Chaturashitayaha Chaturashiti Chaturashiti Chaturashitayaha Praninaha Santi. Sarvesham Pranina Madhye Narajanma Manushya Janma Utkrishtam. That is why Utkrishtam. among the so many lakhs of jivas, one species, one janma is Manushya janma. That is why Manushya janma prashamsa is done by the Acharya here. It is Durlabham. What is the probability of taking a Manushya janma? It is 1 by 8.4 million probability. And also, for another reason, no other beings is endowed with free will and choice like human beings. Therefore, it is Durlabham. And moksha, which is by choice, one has to choose to become free. So, therefore, it is a gift given only to the human beings. So, therefore, it is Durlabham. Jantunam Narajanma Durlabham iti. Starts with saying that Narajanma is Durlabha. Manushya Janma is Durlabha. Jantuna Madhye. Jantuhu iti yukte Jivaha. Chayate iti Jantuhu. That which is born is called Jantuhu. Jivaha. Pranihi ityartaha. So Jantunam, among the Jantus, Narajanma is Durlabham. Jantunam is Nirdharana Shashti. Shashti Vibhakti. Jantunam. Jantu Shabda. Jantuhu Jantu Jantavaha. Jantunam Madhye Narajanma. Narasya Janma Narajanma. It's a compound. Narajanma, Manushya Janma, Shashti Tat Purusha. Janman is the Shabda, Nakaranta. Durlabham, that's why Janman is, it is Nakaranta, Napumsakalinga, that's why Durlabham. We have to spread Durlabham, then Ataha iti. So Narajanma is Durlabham. Manushya Janma is Durlabham. Manushya Janma meaning that the Shariram, the Stula Shariram, which is endowed with the Stula Shariram, which is endowed with the faculty which other beings do not have. Therefore, all beings have Stula Shariram. Human beings also have Stula Shariram. But in the Stula Shariram of the human being, there is a greater manifestation of the Buddhi Shakti, Viveka Shakti, intellect. That is why it is praised. A jiva is nothing but Sukshma, Karana Sukshma, Stula Sharira Sagita Chaitanyam. Any jiva has these three kind of shariram. Karana shariram, which is avidya, that is there. Then linga shariram, sukshma shariram. Then stula shariram. Of course, then chaitanyam. So karanas, sukshma, stula, sagita, chaitanyam. That is what jivaha jantuhu. So a jiva could be anything, could be any being. But if it is a manushya, the jiva, same jiva manifests in the manushya rupam, manushya form, that karana shariram manifesting to the stula shariram, that faculty, the greater possibility that is there only, the greater manifestation is possible only in the manushya shariram. All the beings have sukshma shariram, but because of the inhibition of the stula shariram, there is no greater manifestation of the faculties, the buddhyadi faculties. Only in manushya shariram it is possible. So therefore, durlabham, Manushya Janma, that is Stula Janma, Praptihi, Ativa Durlabham, probabilities is so rare. Through the human Shariram only, Manushya Shariram alone only, the Sukshma Shariram, otherwise called Linga Shariram or Prana Shariram, it can manifest completely, totally. So therefore, Durlabham. Jivaha is Jivaha. All the beings are Jivaha, Jantuhu Eva, Jantavaha. All the beings have Sukshma Shariram, Karana Shariram, Stula Shariram also. But there is inhibition of the manifestation of the Sukshma Shariram through Stula Shariram because of the difference in the Sharirams. But in Manusha Shariram, Sukshma Shariram can manifest totally. Therefore, Narajanma Durlabham. Like any other Jantu, every Jantu, every Jiva has got both Papa and Punya. But in Manusha Janma, there is an appropriate mixture of Papa and Punya to express itself as a human being. The Jiva is born as a human being only when there is an appropriate mixture of Papa and Punya. Papam also is there, Punyam also is there. If it is only Papam, then Adho Janma. If it is only Punyam, then Utkrishta Janma, Deva Janma. But through those Janma, Moksha is not possible. Because there is no choice, there is no free will. It is meant only for Bhoga, Adho Janma, inferior Janma, births. It's meant only for Bhoga. Those Jivas do not have free will, do not have the Kartrutvam. They meant just for experiencing the Karma Pala. Karma Pala, Bhuktartvam Eva, Adho Janma. Similarly, Deva Janma also. There are also Karma Pala, Kshayartam. Karma Pala, Bhogartam. Karma Pala, Bhogartam, Adho Janma, Karma Pala, Bhogartam, Utkrishta Janma, Deva Janma. In between this Janma is the Manusha Janma. That is Utkrishta Janma we say. Why? Because through that Shariram alone, Sukshma Shariram, which is made of these 17 components, Pancha Jnanendriyani, Pancha Karmendriyani, Pancha Pranadayaha, Manascha Ekam, Buddhischa Eka, these 17 components which makes the Sukshma Shariram, Linga Shariram, manifest completely. That is why Narajanma is Durlabham iti. So Acharya starts with saying Narajanma is Durlabham. Then Ataha is Asmat. Asmat Pumstvam. Then we have to supply Durlabham. So he's giving the gradation, the rarity. The gradation of rarity is giving. Having said Manushya Janma is Durlabham, then he says Ataha Pumstvam Durlabham. Pumstvam is Pums, Sakaranta Shabda. Pum means Pullinga. Pums means man. Pumstvam, the status of being a man. So we have to take the meaning to be Pumstvam means manliness. That is how we have to take it. Need not take Pums to be a man alone. Pumstvam is, otherwise if you take man, then what about woman? The question will come. Because both are Manushya Janma, man and woman. Then why there should be partiality? Therefore, Pumstvam, we interpret Pumstvam as manliness, the courage to pursue, the courage to pursue moksha, in fact. That's what manliness, Pumstvam. Person enjoys a stronger mind. That's Pumstvam. Manliness. Not referring to the physical strength. It refers to the person who is endowed with a mind which is capable of thinking independently, courageous. That is Pumstvam. That is how the word Pumstvam has to be interpreted pumstvam. So ataha pumstvam, manushya janma durlabham. Ataha, then compared to that, what is next durlabham? Next rarity is pumstvam is another rarity. So, so therefore, pumstvam, being free, this the capability of the capability which is given. What capability? The mind which is capable of thinking, the thinking mind. Because a thinking mind, for thinking mind only, there is a choice and choice for moksha. It can alone choose to become free or to become bound. That's a choice. So therefore, Pumstom, that person, referring to that person who has got the strength of the mind to, to pursue moksha, to pursue moksha. Moksha is the knowledge that Sarvam Khalidam Brahma, Jagat Karanam Brahma, Ahamasmi. That's Advaita Jnanam, Kaivalyam. Therefore, Pumstam referring to the person who is endowed with the strength, the capability to pursue moksha. That is Pumstam. Tataha. Further, he says, next gradation he gives. Tataha, the next priority is Tataha Viprata. Viprata is the next rarity. First, Manushya Janma is a rarity. Compared to that, Pumstam is a rarity, endowed with the mind to pursue moksha, pursue Advaitam. Tataha, compared to that, Viprata is next rarity. All are not endowed with the mind, the thinking mind. Even though mind is given, mind is meant for thinking. But for most of the people, the mind is not with themselves. It is also like a other being programmed mind. People have the programmed mind. They cannot think independently. So Kumstone stands for independent thinking. So it is a blessing to have such a mind, to think independently, to think rightly, right thinking, then only right knowledge. So that is Pumstone. Tataha Viprata. Viprata is Shastra Adhyayanam. Viprata. Shastra Adhyayanam. Veda Shastra. Shastra means Veda. Veda Adhyayanam. That is Viprata. Viprata referring to the person who is scholarly, who has got the knowledge of the Shastram. Scholarly, not in the negative sense. He has studied Shastram. Shastra Adhyeta. So Shastram Jnanam, yes, it means that person must be endowed with the Shraddha. Shraddha in the Shastram. Accept Shastram as the authority, Pramanam. That is a big thing. It's not easy. Only those who are born in a particular environment, particular family, brought up with that, the attitude, only will enjoy this Shraddha. Shraddha is, it's not easy to have Shraddha, to accept Shastram as the Pramanam, that is Shraddha. Astikya, Shastre Astikya Buddhi, that is what Shraddha. Shraddhavan Labate Jnanam, Gita Bhagavan says. So that is another rarity. Shraddha must be there, and therefore Jnanam, therefore one pursues Shastram. Therefore, Viprata referring to the person who has got Shastra Jnanam, learning of the scriptures, Shastram. Why it is important? Because without Shastram, without Veda Patanam, Veda Adhyayanam, there is no scope for a person to grow into a matured person, a refined person. There is a shloka, Janmana jayate shudraha, karmana dvija uchyate, veda patena vipraha bhavati, brahmano brahma vedana iti. So, all are by birth is Shudraha only. Shudraha is the one who is devoid of the knowledge of the Shastram. He doesn't have Shraddha in the Shastram, that is why he is called Shudraha. Not because of the his jati, Shudra. It is because the person has not studied Shastram, that is why he is Shudraha. But all are Shudra only by Janma. By Janma, all are Shudra. It means unrefined Prakrita Purushaha. By birth, all are Prakrita Purushaha, unrefined. All of us enjoy unrefined mind by birth. In the beginning, we have mind which is not refined. Prakritaha eva, Prakrita Purushaha, all are Prakrita Purushaha. Therefore, after that only, there is samskaras. There are samskaras, Upanayana samskara, Veda samskara. Then Gayatri, initiation into Gayatri. By that samskara, as karmana dvija uchyate. The person then becomes a refined person, samskrita purusha by samskaras. By Upanayana ceremony, Upanayana ceremony is the introduction to the Gayatri and therefore the Veda. That is how a person is introduced into the Veda, the Vedika Sampradaya, through initiation into the Gayatri. Without initiating initiation into the Gayatri, a person cannot pursue Veda. So Veda Patanam, Veda Adhyanam requires initiation into Gayatri. So that is Upanayana's samskara is an important samskara. Therefore, by that only the person is said to be born again. That's why it's called Dvijaha. All those who they take up this Upanayana ceremony, Upanayana, they are called Dvijaha, twice born. First Janma is through the womb of the mother. That is the first Janma. The second Janma through the Upanayana, the Samskara, that is second Janma. That is why Dvijaha, even in Gita also, if you see in the first chapter, Duryodhana addresses is Dronacharya as a Dvijottama, Dvijanam Uttama iti. Because Dronacharya by birth is a Brahmin. By profession is a Kshatriya. So it's a Brahmana Kshatriya. So Dvijottama, Dvijanam Uttama iti. Then Veda Patena Vipraha. Veda Pata is the Veda, learning the Veda. The entire learning the Veda means the entire Veda. Introduction into the Veda, Veda Patashala, he learns the mantras, the chanting, Veda Patena. Veda Patena, he becomes Vipraha, a man of knowledge, learned person. So Veda Shastram meaning it includes Dharma Shastram also. Dharma Shastram also Veda. But we say for Veda Pata, for Veda, Veda meaning Shastram. Shastram includes the Dharma Shastram as well as Jnana Shastram. In fact, Veda itself is divided into two parts, Purva Bhaga and Uttara Bhaga, Veda Anta. So, what is the Purva Bhaga? Purva Bhaga deals with Dharma. Dharma meaning karma. the knowledge of the karma, knowledge of the rituals, and the mantras which accompany the ritual, and the know-how of the performance of the ritual. They're all that is called Veda Purvaha deals with the dharma. So Dharma Shastram. That is also Dharma Shastram. There are other Shastrams are also the Dharma Shastram. Apart from that, the person who has studied they are called Viprata. Then Veda Pata, he studies Veda because in the beginning introduced into the Gayatri. Then further the Gayatri expands into the study of the Veda. So one has to study once Shaka to begin with, once Veda. At least once Shaka one must study, we say. Once Veda. Then if a person must study one Veda, his own Veda that he must study. Then choice is there to study other Vedas. That's why we say Dvivedi, Trivedi, Chaturvedi. Dvivedi means the one who has studied two Vedas. Trivedi, the name of the person in those days, Trivedi, who has studied all the three Vedas. Chaturvedi, he knows all the four Vedas. The Veda Patena, therefore, by the study of Veda, Vipraha Bhavati. Then Brahmanaha Brahma Vedana. By knowing Brahma, Ishvara, the person becomes a Brahmanaha. He is called Brahmana who knows Brahma. That is the goal. That is the goal. So for which the seed is given through the Upanayada Samskara. By that the person becomes a refined person. So therefore Karmana Dvija Uchyate. So therefore by Samskara Karma he becomes a Dvija, a refined person. From Prakrita to Samskrita, the conversion happens by Samskara, this Upanayana the Samskaras. Then he studies Veda, becomes Vipraha. Therefore Viprata, Tataha Viprata. Tataha Viprata is compared, then the next rarity. Umstvam is a rarity. Compared to that rarity, Viprata is Durlabhata. Viprata is the status of being a knowledgeable person. Knowledgeable in Veda, in other Shastram also. Not only in Veda, other Shastram also, auxiliary or secondary. Secondary knowledges are that Veda Anga, Shiksha, Kalpa, Niruktam, Vyakaram, Chandaha, Jyotisha. Not only that, there are 14 Vidyasthana, Purana, Itihasa, everything. Dharma Shastram also included. By that, the person become Vipraha. The status of being being knowledgeable is called Viprata. So we have to supply. Tataha, Tataha means compared to Pumstam, compared to manliness. Viprata is Durlabhata. Durlabha, not Durlabhata, Durlabha. Durlabha is Dukkhena Labhyate iti Durlabha. Durlabha. That which is attained with difficulty, meaning rarity, difficult. So Narajanma Durlabham, Tataha Ataha Pumstvam Durlabham, Tataha Viprata Durlabha. Durlabha is it's a Vishesha. It's a Visheshanam. Visheshanam. Therefore, Viprata is therefore Durlabha. We have to supply Durlabha. We can make sentences out of this. Jantunam Narajanma Durlabham. That is one sentence. Durlabham Bhavati. Ataha means Narajanmanaha. Pumstvam Durlabham Bhavati. Tataha. Then Tataha is Pumstva. Pumstvat Viprata Durlabha. Viprata is Durlabha. That is another rare privilege to study and understand the Shastram. So Viprata requires Shraddha, Astikya Buddhi, and knowledge. Therefore, that is a rarity. Then Tasmad Vaidika Dharma Marga Parata. Tasmad, Panchami is used to compare. So, Viprata also, the study of Shastra, study of Veda. How will you do? That is, after Upanayana means introduction to the Veda through the Guru. Therefore, it implies Gurukula Vasa. The person has to go to the Gurukula, enter the Gurukulam and study under the teacher, learn from the teacher, the Shastra, Dharma Shastra, all. By that, the person becomes a Samskrita Purusha, a cultured person, a refined person. Now he becomes fit to enter into the society. Otherwise, it's Prakrita only. So, Prakrita to Samskrita, the conversion happens by studying under the Guru in the Gurukula. Understand what is Dharma, what is Adharma, both. So, therefore, Dharma Jnanam, Adharma Jnanam, the person who has got, it's called Vipraha. So, now Tasmad Vaidika Dharma Marga Paratha. So, having studied, now knowledgeable. The knowledge is there. Now, with the knowledge alone, what you will do? It has to be implemented. It has to be practiced. Dharma is to be practiced. Athato dharma jigyasa. That's what Purva Mimamsa is. Follow the dharma acharanam, dharma anushtanam. Therefore, Vaidika dharma marga parata. Parata means parato, committed. The status of being committed to the marga, the path of dharma. What dharma? Vaidika dharma. The person is now committed to following Vaidika dharma, following the Veda. He follows the Vedic style of living. Otherwise, what is the use of this scholarly, what is the use of this knowledge? Then only we say it is scholarly knowledge, just book knowledge. Bookish knowledge is of no use. It has to be put into practice. The person should adopt those knowledge in his life. Whatever knowledge he has gained in the Gurukula from the Guru, that he must put into practice. He must do all the Nitya Nimittika Adi Karma. Sandhya Vandanadi. If he is a brahmachari, Sandhya Vandana Karma, Sandhya Vandanam and Brahma Yajna, all this he must do. If he is a Grihastha, of course, he must do Agnihotra Adi Karma. All these karmas are Nitya Karma, Nitya Naimittika Adi Karma. Nitya Naimittika, then the karma which are prohibited, Nishiddha, that he must not do. Like Suram na pibet, Kalanjiam na bhakshayet, should not drink alcohol, should not eat meat. These are Nishiddha karma. Nitya karma is Sandhya Vandana Nitya karma, Agnihotra karma, Naimitya karma, Shraddham, etc. Those karmas are mandatory, should be done. So that is following the Vedic style of living. So understanding what dharma and adharma. Not only that, applying the knowledge of dharma and adharma in the day-to-day life. So that committed life, Vedic lifestyle, that is dharma margaha, Vaidika dharma margaha, right way of living. As taught by Veda, as he has learned from the Guru, from the Veda, from the Shastram. So that is Tasmat Vaidika Dharma Marga Parata, leading a life of dharma in keeping with the Veda, that is Durlabha. Committed life, committed pursuit of this Vedic lifestyle, that is another rarity. Tasmad is that Viprata is there. Vipratayaha Vaidika Dharma Marga Paratha Durlabha. We have to supply Durlabha everywhere, at every point we have to supply Durlabham, Durlabha, iti. Parata is Paratvam, the status of being committed. Tasya Bhavaha Tatalo, the sutra is there. By that, Srilinga here, Ta Pratyaya, Para plus Ta. Parata, or we can say Paratvam also. Similarly, Vipratvam also we can say. Same meaning only. Vaidika Dharma Marga Paratvam Durlabham Bhavati. Kasmat Vipratayaha Vipratvat. So therefore, practicing the religious, leading the religious way of life. Why we say it is important? Why Acharya says important? Because that alone gives the necessary prerequisite qualities for pursuing Vedanta, because that is the next stage. Vedanta, to pursue Vedanta, the person must be an adhikari. Adhikaritvam, we say. The status of being endowed with qualification, referring to the person, the person is referred to by the status of being endowed with qualification. Adhikaritvam. Adhikari is who enjoys adhikaritvam? The one who has got sadhana chatushtaya sampattihi. What are those sadhana chatushtaya sampatti? Viveka vairagya samadhi shatka sampattihi mumukshutvam. That is called sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. Fourfold wealth a person acquires. Or to put it in the language of Gita, Amanittam, Adambittam, Ahimsa, Kshantirarjavam. There are 20 spiritual values talked about in the 13th chapter of Gita. Amanittam, Abadambittam, the Shloka. The 20 spiritual values are equated to Jnanam by the Lord. They are called Jnanam because if these qualities are present, then Jnanam is not far away for that person. So these qualities have to be cultivated. That is possible only when by leading a Grihastha life, a Vaidika Grihastha life. They're practicing, because in Grihastha life only you can practice what you have studied in the Gurukulam as a Brahmachari. Next ashrama is Grihastha ashrama after Brahmacharya ashrama. So by that the person becomes a qualified person, a matured person, a seasoned person. Without getting seasoned, without having acquired this qualification, sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, Vedanta is not possible. You cannot shift to Vedanta. From Veda Purva to Veda Anta shift is not possible without acquiring those qualities. That is why religious way of life, Vaidika Dharma is important. A person leading a lifestyle of Veda, Vaidika Dharma, naturally he will grow to be a Vedantin. He will shift slowly from Veda Purva to Vedanta. So Veda Purva helps a person to gain Jnana Yogyata. That is why the next says, Vidvatam Asmat Param. Asmat compared to the Vaidika, following the Vaidika Dharma lifestyle, Param, rarity, superior, greater to it is Vidvatvam. Vidvatvam, we have to give the meaning to the word Vidvatvam. Vidvatvam also can mean scholarship, but that is not the meaning we give here. If Viprata is learning Veda in the Gurukula, in the Veda Patashala, in the Gurukula, if Viprata is Dharma Shastra Jnanam of the Shastra in general, Dharma Shastram. Dharma Shastra means it includes the rituals, the know-how of the performance of rituals, and also the values, etc. Dharma Shastra, it includes Karma Yoga, everything. That's called Dharma Shastra. Dharma Shastra means uh, it's not only about what to eat on what days. Should we, on Ekadashi days, what is the menu for eating? What should we avoid? That is not only Dharma Shastra. Dharma Shastra in that context means Karma Yoga. That's how we have to take, because we are talking about shifting from Veda Purva to Vedanta. Therefore, what is Dharma? That covers, it's a big topic. So he has got an overall knowledge of what Dharma is. Dharma meaning karma, one meaning is that by that we can take the knowledge of the know of the rituals. Dharma also can mean values. Dharma also means values. The values have to be implemented. Karma. Therefore, Karma Yoga it is. So, Viprata referring to the lifestyle of a Karma Yoga. The Viprata referring to the knowledge of the knowledge. Then that lifestyle is Dvaidika Dharma Marga Parata. The lifestyle is the knowledge is put into practice. That is Vaidika Dharma. Vaidika Dharma is Karma Yoga. Because a person performs Nityanetimetika the karma and he avoids Nishita karma. And if the person completely involved in Kamya Karma, then that is a different category. He is not interested in Shreyas, he is not interested in Moksha, he is interested only in prayers. That is a different category. We are not talking about that. We are talking about the person who is cultured, who is refined, who has understood Shastram. So therefore he does karma in order to gain jnana yogyata. We are talking about only that person. So therefore, having performed karma yoga in the grihastha lifestyle, grihastha, and that karma yoga is possible because of viprata. Now, vidvatvam referring to the knowledge of the Vedanta Jnanam, Vedanta Shastra Jnanam, that is Vidvatvam. If Viprata referring to Veda Jnanam, Shastra, Dharma Shastra Jnanam, then Vidvatvam reference to Vedanta Jnanam. Viprata is general learning of the Veda, not particularly Vedanta. The person studies the mantras of the Upanishad and all studies, but doesn't know the meaning of those Upanishads because he has not inquired into it. He has just learned, committed to memory the mantras. He has understood the values. He has developed the attitude. That is viprata, the right attitude. That is viprata. That is put into practice in the grihastha by following dharma. That is Vaidika dharma marga. It's committed to that lifestyle. Now, vidvatam meaning that is Vedanta Shastra Jnanam, status of being knowledgeable in Vedanta. That is vidvatvam. Vidvata or vidvatvam, both mean same. Asmat param, kasmat param, that is Vaidika dharma marga paratayaha param durlabham, this vidvatvam. The knowledge of Vedanta Shastram is durlabham. Because a person may get stuck only in karma. He may not shift to Vedanta. He may get stuck only in karma, possible. But if the person has the right attitude, right knowledge, and follows the values in life, keeping the end in mind, the goal in mind, then the person follows the karma as a means for the end, that is moksha. So therefore, he knows dharma has to be followed because dharma gives the jnana yogyata. He knows he has got some idea about the goal, the moksha. Therefore, get that, to get that pakvata, yogyata, he follows the values, he follows dharma. Therefore, Vaidika dharma marga parata, but it doesn't stop there. The next stage is vanaprastha and sannyasa, where there is no karma. Karma has to be given up. Being in the Vaidika dharma, therefore he has got knowledge of all the four ashramas. And he knows what are the duties of the four ashrama. In vanaprastha and the next ashrama, sannyasa, where is karma? Karma is only in the grihastha ashrama. Therefore, committed to dharma, performs karma. Vaidika dharma marga parata, that is viprata. There is dharma jigyasa is there in viprata. In vidvatam, there is brahma jigyasa. So jigyasa now changes. Jigyasa meaning jnatam icha, the desire to know. In the beginning, the desire to know what dharma and what adharma, both has to be known. Because the Brahma Sutra, that is like Brahma Sutra, we have Jaimini Purva Mimamsa Sutra. The first sutra is Athato Dharma Jigyasa. Athato Dharma Jigyasa meaning the dharma to be inquired, the desire to inquire dharma. Jigyasa Kartavya. What is dharma? Dharma Jigyasa Kartavya. Dharma Jigyasa Kartavya. Jigyasa, the desire to know dharma, that one must do. One must inquire into what dharma is. Not only what dharma is, what adharma also must be known. What dharma is, what adharma is. Athato dharma jigyasa, athato adharma jigyasa. That is what Viprata is. But in Vidvatvam, Athato Brahma Jignasa, now the Jignasa, the desire to know, the object of desire to know changes from Dharma to Brahma, from Karma to Brahma, from Grihastha to Vanaprastha, and then Sannyasa. That is Vidvatvam. So Vidvatvam referring to Vedanta Shastra Jnanam. Viprata referring to general Veda Jnanam, Dharma Shastra Jnanam. Vidvatvam referring to specifically Brahma Shastra Jnanam. That is what we have to take. Now Vidvattam, Dharma Shastra, Brahma Jignasa, Vedanta Shastra Jnanam. How is it gained? With how it is gained? That also cannot be gained without a guru. Guru is required. Impossible without a guru. So therefore, as we go higher and higher, therefore it becomes a rarity increases. Following the Vedic Dharma Marga it's a rarity. And after the shifting to Vedanta is another rarity. So Vidvattam referring to the knowledge of the Vedanta, it means the person must must be exposed to the Shastram. How? By listening to the words of the teacher, the Guru, he expounds the meaning of the Vedanta, that is Upanishads. That is what is called Shravanam is. Shravanam meaning listening. Shravanam meaning not just hearing, listening to the words of the Vedanta Shastram through the mouth of the Guru. In fact, in Vedanta Sara, the Shravanam is beautifully defined. We have seen in Vedanta Sara. Shravanam Nama Shadvida Lingaihi Ashesha Vedantanam Advitiya Vastuni Tatpariya Avadharanam. It's a beautiful, complete definition. What is Shravanam? Shravanam is defined. Shravanam is from the Shru Dhatu, Shru to, from the Shru to here. Shravanam meaning Shadvida Lingaihi, by 6 Linga. Linga meaning sign or symbol. Shad Linga. Shadvida Linga. Ashesha Vedantana, the entire Vedanta. No exception, the complete Vedanta. Vedantana. Tatparya Avadhar, ascertaining the meaning. Tatparya. Tatparyaha, the purport, the Tatparya, the teaching, ascertaining the teaching of the entire Vedanta to be Brahma by the Shad Linga, by 6 Linga, that is called Shravanam. Now the question comes, what are the 6 Linga? 6 Linga, we say, what are the 6 Linga? 6 signs. Upasamharo, Abhyaso, Purvathapalam, Arthavado Bhapatti cha Lingam Tatparya Nirnaye. That is the Shadvida Shat Linga. Shadvida Linga, Lingani. Upakrama is introduction. In ascertaining the Tatparya of a Shastram, these 6 Lingas are applied. All these are Mimamsa. All these come under Mimamsa. To arrive at the Tatparya of the Shastram, what is the Tatparya? We say it is Advaita. Visishta Advaitin, Dvaitins will say it is Dvaita. But everybody, we all, whoever it may be, the Darshanika, we apply this Shadvita Linga. We have a reason to say the Tatparyam of the Shastram is Advaita. How? By applying the Shadlinga, we say. Upakrama is the first Linga, which is the introduction. The Shastra introduces first. First it tells the Tatparya, Tatu Tvamasi. That's how it starts. Jivaha Brahma Eva iti. That is introduction. Upasamhara is conclusion. What is introduced, the same thing that will be in the conclusion also. So it will not introduce something and conclude something. Then Abhyasaha. Abhyasaha is repeating the teaching. Like in Chandogya Upanishad, Tatu Tvamasi repeated 9 times. Tatu Tvamasi, because that is the teaching. That is why it is repeated again and again, Tatu Tvamasi, Tatu Tvamasi. Similarly in Kena Upanishad, Nedamidam Upasate, Nedamidam Upasate, Tadeva Brahmatvam Vidhi, Tadeva Brahmatvam Vidhi, by repetition. Repetition is not a dosha. Abhyasaha, it's called repetition, Abhyasaha. Then what Shastram says, that must be Apurvata. That must not be covered by other pramanas. It must be unique. And the result also must be there. Because being a pramana, that must have a result. Then there may be the Arthavada and Upapatti. Upapatti is the illogical proof, illogical establishment. Arthavada is praising the knowledge, Arthavada. So all these 6 linga, 6 signs, by 6 signs, we arrive at the Tatparyam of the Shastra. As Advaitins, we arrive at the Tatparyam of the Shastra to be Advaita by applying the 6 lingas to all the Upanishads, all the Vedanta. Shesh Vedantanam Tatparyam Advitiya Vastuni Eva iti Shadveda Lingaihi Nyayate. That is called Shravanam. Therefore, Shravanam is not just a hearing, listening and understanding the Tatparya of the Vedanta to be Advaita Brahma. So that is, Swamiji always used to say, in the beginning we say Tatu Tvamasi, in the beginning of the course. At the end also we say Tatu Tvamasi. In between also we say Tatu Tvamasi. We keep repeating the same thing because that is what the Tatparyam is. So the same thing by the 6 linga, these are the tools which Mimamsakas apply to arrive at the Tatparyam of the Shastra. That is called Mananam. That's sorry, called Shravanam. So Shravanam refers to listening to the Shastra and understanding the Tatparya of the Shastra. Tatparyam to be Advaita Brahma. That is Shravanam. So therefore, Vidvatvam referring to Vedanta Jnanam is only by Shravanam. So Vidvatvam therefore implies Shravanam. Otherwise, where is Vidvatvam? You cannot study Shastra by yourself. Shastrajñopi Brahmanveshanam Swatantrena na kuryat. Even if a person knows Shastra, it's a Shastrajñaha. He has got general knowledge of the Shastra. He knows how to approach Shastra. Still, he must not study Vedanta by himself. Brahmanveshanam, inquiry into Brahma, one should not do by himself. Shankaracharya cautions. So therefore, Shravanam, therefore going to the teacher, Tadvidhi Pranipatena, Pariprashtena Sevaya, Upadekshanti Te Jnanam, Jnaninas Tattvadarshibhi. As Bhagavan says in the Gita, one must approach a teacher, Tadvidhi. There is a protocol, having saluted, falling flat at the feet of the teacher and asking question and serving. By that, the teacher will be pleased and then give you knowledge. That is the protocol, that is how it is said in the Shastram also. It means one must surrender to the teacher. Surrender means surrender to the teaching of the teacher. One must exhibit that attitude. Then the teacher will be pleased, knows that the student is eligible and therefore teaches. By teaching, the student gains knowledge. Vidvatvam. That's called Vidvatvam. Vedanta Jnanam Praptihi. Knowledge of the Vedanta Shastra Jnanam. That is Vidvatvam. That is Param compared to Vaidika Dharma Marga Paratvam. Vidvatvam iti. Asmat Param is Atma Anatma Vivechanam. Atma Anatma Vivechanam is Viveka. Vivekachudamani Vivekaha. Atma, what is Atma, what is Anatma? Atma Satyam Tadanyata Sarvam Mithya iti. Atma Anatma Vivekaha. So Atma Anatma Vivechanam, that corresponds to Mananam. So after Shavanam, Mananam should be done. Mananam is thinking of what he has learned and removing the doubts which arises. See, after Shravanam, there may be doubts. There may be doubt whether Shastram is a Pramanam or not. Shastra Shanka. And what the Shastram reveals, with regard to that also, there may be a doubt. Prameya Shanka. Shanka, the doubt is always dangerous. The knowledge with doubt is not knowledge, it is ignorance alone. Samshayatma vinashyati. In Gita, Bhagavan says, therefore the knowledge should be doubt free. So, therefore, in Mananam, what happens? The person thinks, he reasons out and arrives. And then the reasoning also should be rational, should be keeping in with the Shastra, Mananam. He does and understands. It therefore it removes the doubts which arises due to Shravanam. At the time of hearing, listening, whatever doubts arises. Parallelly also he does the Vivechanam, and that is called Mananam. By Mananam, uh, all the possible doubts which are removed. But either in the form of asking question to the teacher or in the form of listening to the Shastram again. Both are Mananam only. Mananam tu Shutasya Advitiya Vastunaha Vedanta Anuguna Yuktibihi Anavaratam Anuchintanam. So Mananam is Anuchintanam. The beautiful complete definition of Mananam is. Mananam is Anuchintanam. Chintanam is thinking. Anavarta means always, 24/7. 24/7 thinking of Vedanta where it is possible, in which ashrama. Either in the Vanaprastha or in the Sannyasa. Vanaprastha, there it is only meditation, manasika karma. So there also not possible because there more of contemplation, meditation is involved. Whereas this is in sannyasa ashrama. Either in sannyasa ashrama or preparatory to sannyasa, mananam. So mananam is anavarata anuchintanam, not leaving any gap, constantly thinking. Thinking what? Shrutasya advitiya vastuna, advitiya vastu, that Brahma which is heard at the time of Shravanam from the teacher, that thinking about that in keeping with the Vedanta Yukti, in keeping with Vedanta Anuguna Yukti, in keeping with the Vedanta, in keeping with what he has heard, thinking about Brahma, what he has heard from the teacher, which is in keeping with the teaching of the Vedanta. That is Mananam. Should not think contradictory, then the purpose of Mananam itself is defeated. That is why Shraddha, we say in the very beginning, Shastra, Astikya Buddhi, Shastra, accepting Shastram as a Pramanam, they are giving the benefit of doubt to the Shastram, the teacher, then only Shravanam happens, then followed by Mananam. Mananam is rational, applying our rational thinking, understanding, and removing the possible doubts which arises, because doubt-free knowledge is as good as ignorance alone. Pratibadda jnanam is ajnanam eva. Apratibadda jnanam alone jnanam. So therefore, Atmanatma Vivechanam corresponding to Mananam. Then comes Svanubhavaha. Sva Anubhavaha corresponding to Sva Anubhavaha is Aparoksha Jnanam Nididhyasanam. I think we will see. We'll talk about that in the next class. So the author has here, Shankaracharya has given beautifully the degrees of rarity, how he progresses from Manushya Janma to finally to Sannyasa Ashrama, which is characterized by Nididhyasanam or Nishta. That is Svanubhavaha Aparoksha Jnanam, which corresponds to Nididhyasanam. What is Nididhyasanam and all we will see. But that is going to be discussed elaborately later. Since already we have studied in other texts, therefore we can recall. Those who are not read, no problem. I give the meaning of what we studied, the words, what we heard, what we have seen in Vedanta Sara, etc. Okay, Swanabhavaha therefore corresponds to Nididhyasanam. Therefore, Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. These are the sadhana for Jnanam. In fact, we say Shravanam is the sadhana. Shravanat eva mokshaha. If the person is endowed with sadhana chaturthaya sampatti, then Shravanam alone will give Jnanam. That is what our Sampradaya, Vivarana Sampradaya, our Sampradaya, we say. There are other Sampradaya, Bhamati Sampradaya, etc., where they say Nididhyasanam. We say Nididhyasanam is only to remove the Viparita Bhavana, whereas the person is endowed with Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti, which is gained only through Karma Yoga, then Jnanam, Shravanena eva Jnanam Bhavati. Iti. Shravanam, therefore, is the Angi, and Mananam and Nididhyasanam are Anga. So, therefore, Vidvattam referring to Shravanam, Atmanatma Vivechanam referring to Mananam, Swanabhavaha referring to Nididhyasanam. By Nididhyasana, he gets established in this knowledge, that is Sthita Pragyatvam, Brahma, Brahmi Sthitihi. That is what Brahmana, Brahmatmana Samsthitihi, he says. We'll talk about that in the next class. So we'll stop here. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. I hope there was no disturbance when I speak. I spoke.
No disturbance.
It was clear, sir. Yeah.
Very clear.
Dhanyavadaha.
ధన్యవాదాः.
Uh,
ధన్యవాదాలు.
ధన్యవాదాः జీ.
ధన్యవాదాలు జీ.
Dhanyavadaha.
ధన్యవాదాలు.
ధన్యవాదాలు.